Hey everyone, this is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is July 8th, 2021, and these are the top stories of the day. To kick things off, well, I should rewind. Before we kick things off, I just wanted to say thank you to anyone who reached out to me and said happy birthday on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, family, friends in the real world, digital folks. I appreciate it, so thank you. I'm 38 as of yesterday, July 7th. Feeling good. Have some nice goals for the upcoming year. Going to continue working on video game news with PGN and video game talk. Perhaps add some other things to the channel. Continue working on my martial arts side of things, my archery side of things. So that's pretty cool. Also, I made my Dragon Ball Z live action Goku transformation video back in 2012 when I was 28. Now I'm 38, so at some point next year I will be 10 years older, and it will be 10 years later from when I made that first video. So sometime during my age of 38, I plan on making a brand new live action Dragon Ball Z transformation video. Technically, anytime between now and July 6th, 2022 will be me being 38. But if I really want to get super technical and make it 10 calendar years later to the date, I've got to work somewhere in between May and June of next year to release that video. But that's just a little project on the side, so look forward to that, and thank you for joining me in my YouTube channel and on paulgalenetwork.com. Here's to another great year. Here's to a healthy year, fun, successful. You know, obviously for all of you personally, and for me personally, I wish the best of health and prosperity. I've got 2 kids, I've got a wife, parents, family and friends I value very much so. I very much so value good people, and that includes folks that I don't know in person, such as, you know, possibly you watching this channel and liking and commenting, subscribing, talking to me. I still appreciate it. So thank you. Whether you're watching and we know each other in the real world or not, I still value your time, and, you know, just look forward to talking to cool folks out there. All right, now let's get into the news. It's on the shorter side though, but let's talk regardless. The Nintendo Switch OLED model, very popular in the last couple of days, the talk of much controversy online, is almost ready for pre-order over at Best Buy. It's coming soon. There's a timer right here of when it's releasing, 91 days, 5 hours, and 51 minutes. It's not available for pre-order just yet. It tells you that it's coming out October 8th, however. You've got both models coming soon, available for pre-order. Hopefully within the coming days, we get a little bit of a notification in advance, and hopefully bots don't just spam it. On other websites, some have the Nintendo Switch OLED model up, but still not yet ready for pre-order, just to show it, and some sites don't quite have this image or anything like that. Metroid Dread being advertised as a new game, that's awesome. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD, which is coming out soon, being advertised. And of course you've got deals on all of these titles here, and some titles not on sale, but just worth it in the first place, or a C price in cart, as is typical now and then. But yeah, mostly I wanted to show you that it's coming soon, so stay tuned. If I learn of when we're going to get this information, when we're going to get this drop of pre-orders available now, I'll let you know. Alright, moving on into Xbox territory. Microsoft announced that Dark Souls 3, with a unique FPS boost of how they handled it, is now able to achieve 90 frames per second on Xbox Series X and S. The game previously was in that 30 range on the Xbox One, but working specifically in a unique way to achieve it, they were able to pull it off. Now, what would be cool next is if it got some like 1440p patch. Oh, that would be awesome. But Dark Souls 3 is a great game. If you have an Xbox Series S or X and have not already played it, now's the time to check it out because you're going to benefit from this 60 FPS patch and play the game potentially for the first time like that. So kudos to From Software and Bandai Namco and Microsoft on making that happen. Next up on the PlayStation side of things, remember today at 2 o'clock Pacific time, that's 5 Eastern time, is going to be the state of play. We know that they're not going to talk about PlayStation VR 2 or PlayStation 5 VR setup, nor will they talk about God of War or Horizon Forbidden West, but we should get a good look at Deathloop and some other third-party and indie software. And finally, it's Thursday, so it's Famitsu sales talk time. Thank you to Chris1964 from the ResetEra.com forums for nicely putting this list together. This represents week 27 of 2021, which occupies June 28th through July 4th. And in the number one spot on the software side of things is Mario Golf Super Rush, which had a 61% drop from the previous week, its debut week, but still managed to sell 31,000 copies. And number two is Game Builder Garage with 17,600 copies, only a 24% drop. This game's got some little legs to it, which is nice. And number three is Ring Fit Adventure with 14,000, up 5% from last week. And number four is Minecraft on Nintendo Switch with 13,000, up 11% from last week. And number 5 and 6 respectively is Samurai Warriors 5 on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 at 11,500 and 10,200. Now you see the Nintendo Switch version has a smaller lifetime. The game only came out last week, but it had a smaller drop too. It dropped by 70%, whereas the PS4 version dropped by 82%. So the PS4 version debuted higher, Nintendo Switch version dropped lower, but the PS4 version dropped more than the Nintendo Switch version, making the Nintendo Switch version sell more in its second week. Depending on how these drops happen in continuous weeks, the Nintendo Switch version might actually be the best selling between the two, but time will tell. But it'll be interesting to see how this battle turns out. And number 7 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with a giant increase of 23% from the previous week with 10,200 copies. Number 8, Miitopia, hanging in there with 9,500 copies, only down 5%, very small drop. And number 9, Momotaro Dentetsu. Can't believe this thing's been on here for this long. Very impressive. This came out November last year, so hanging on there for a solid 8 months. 9,400 copies for the week, 11% up from the previous. And at number 10, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Another big jump, very comparable in percentage to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It did 7,900 for the week, and well worth it because Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is a terrific game, especially if you did not own 3D World on Wii U. And if you did, Bowser's Fury alone, I'd say it's worth it. You know, it depends on how much you value the dollar, and can you look at it as a 9-hour 25-minute experience of really great gameplay. Is that worth $60 to you? To some people, they need more hours from their $60. Some need a lot of replayability. 3D World with Bowser's Fury, tremendous value. Bowser's Fury alone, not a very long game. I gave you my time. 9 hours and 25 minutes or 9 hours and 35 minutes is how long it took me to 100% that portion of the game. And I did have and do have still 3D World on Wii U. So I largely bought this for Bowser's Fury, although I still enjoyed with my family 3D World on Nintendo Switch and its upgraded speed and whatnot. So yeah, not a super replayable game once you get 100%, not super long, but really fun if you only bought it for it. Still worth it in my opinion. The top 10, that's it. 10 for Nintendo Switch, 1 for PlayStation 4, no PlayStation 5 games in there. You don't see Monster Hunter Rise in here, you don't see Animal Crossing, you don't see Resident Evil Village, but they could come back later in the year. We'll see. Moving into the hardware, which is where we're going to end today's video game news with PGN. We've got Nintendo Switch at number 1, a nice jump up over last week, 84,000 this week. PlayStation 5, a pretty fair drop to 16,000 from last week's 23. Xbox Series, you know, is going up, and now down a little bit, but 3,400 is still respectable for the Xbox Series brand in Japan. PlayStation 4 at 1,159 and 3DS at 732. So PS4 down a bit, Xbox Series down a bit, PS5 down by a good chunk, 3DS up a little, and Nintendo Switch up a pretty good amount. This brings Nintendo Switch, you know, up considerably over last year to date. Last year to date was 2.7 million. This year to date is 3,085,000. So you're looking at a good lead, and I think Nintendo is set to win 2021 over its last year's self. We've got Metroid Dread coming out, which isn't huge in Japan, but I think Metroid Dread is going to do well in Japan and very well worldwide. We've got Shin Megami Tensei 5 coming out. You've got Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes coming out. So there are some good looking software on the horizon. No More Heroes 3 that will probably sell well in Japan and really in the world, I think, are going to do very well, particularly Metroid Dread. I have high hopes for that one passing by 3 million easily. Maybe getting into that 7 million territory would be terrific. We'll see. If it passes 5, I'd be very happy. If it hits 7, I would be ecstatic. I'm like, dang, I have high hopes now for Metroid Prime 4. You know, we've got a resurgence in the Metroid Prime series. This is great. And we've got Skyward Sword HD coming out soon, which I think will sell better on Nintendo Switch than Wii, which is wild because Wii was a successful system. It almost sold 102 million units worldwide. Nintendo Switch is somewhere around 87 million right now and has a lot more life left to it, I think. Plus, we've got the Nintendo Switch OLED model coming out in October. That's going to sell well. Like, yeah, Nintendo Switch is going to top its 2020 self. Now, the real question is going to be, will it beat itself in 2022? Can the system last that long, selling more and more units every year? If it does the most in 2022, that'd be wild. But if like Bayonetta 3 comes out next year, we got Pokemon Arceus, we know that's coming out. If Breath of the Wild's sequel comes out, which is likely, but it could be a 2023 title, but let's call it 2022 for now. And if Metroid Prime 4 comes out next year, those are a lot of ifs, correct? But a couple of them should, out of those 4 that I mentioned. It's exciting. All right, that's going to do it for video game news. As usual, I tend to talk a little more, supplying some of my opinions in there and speculation, but that's it. Thank you for watching. Thanks again for wishing me a happy birthday. I appreciate it. This is Paul Gale from PaulGaleNetwork.com, wishing you all a great rest of your day. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.